SpaceX is getting ready to take over the world and the universe. They're finally launching their Super Heavy to orbit. When will it happen? And what other plans do they already have? Stay tuned till the end of the video to find out. Welcome back to SpaceX Net. Following the establishment of a new record for launch activity in 2021, SpaceX launched a constellation of Starlink satellites on January 6, smashing all prior records to usher off 2022 with an implausible Falcon 9 launch, which broke all previous records. It was 4:49 p.m. Eastern when SpaceX's Falcon 9 rocket launched from Launch Complex 39A at the Kennedy Space Center in Florida on a mission named Starlink 425 by the company. Despite the fact that its payload of 49 Starlink satellites detached from the upper stage 15.5 minutes after liftoff, the separation was not confirmed until about an hour thereafter due to a lack of ground station coverage. 9 minutes after liftoff, the first stage of the rocket completed a safe landing on a drone ship in the Atlantic Ocean near the Bahamas, bringing the mission to a close. Having completed 3 previous missions, which included the launch of 2 GPS-3 satellites and the Inspiration 4 commercial Crew Dragon mission, the rocket successfully completed its 4th mission. It was an uncommon southeastern trajectory for a Starlink launch from Florida, as opposed to the northeastern trajectory that had been used for previous Starlink launches from the state. Officials from NASA's space agency, and it's only the first of 4 projects set to launch in January that will follow southern or polar routes. Major Jonathan Schul, Director of Operations for the First Range Operations Squadron and Cape Canaveral Space Force Station, said in a statement on January 4th that the 2022 launch schedule would be exceptionally busy, with up to 5 polar and 7 total launches expected in the month of January alone. Major Jonathan Schul said the 2022 launch schedule would be exceptionally busy. The launch of 3 successful polar missions in the previous year and a half is a first for Cape Canaveral, which has never before had 5 southern trajectory flights in a single month. By the way, did you know about their plans? Let us know in the comment section down below. The Space Force unit in command of the Eastern Range, Space Launch Delta 45, was worried about the rising use of launches on southern trajectories due to the differences in airspace and maritime limits that pilots and boaters may not be familiar with. According to Schul, the storm's unusual southerly direction will have a bigger potential impact on aviation and maritime transport near Florida's southeast coast than it will elsewhere. As the first SpaceX flight of 2022, it was also the first orbital launch of the year, putting it on par with the first orbital launch in the globe. This occurred when SpaceX has a new business record in 2021 by flying 31 orbital flights, all utilizing Falcon 9 rockets, breaking the previous record set by the company in 2010. According to Tom Okinero, Vice President of Commercial Sales at SpaceX, during a panel discussion at Euroconsul's World Satellite Business Week on December 13, the company's plan for 2022 include at least 3 crewed missions and 5 launches of the Falcon Heavy, which was last launched in 2019. SpaceX has not said what it intends to accomplish by 2022. It will be more exciting next year, he predicted for the year 2022. Comment SpaceX Army if you believe this is great news. A few days later, SpaceX repeated a variation on the original set of tests, this time gradually elevating the assembly up the side of the launch tower and opening and closing the arms in the same manner as it had done previously. There were several noteworthy changes, the most notable of which was the addition of numerous tandem swing tests, which acted as a prelude to the introduction of more relevant tests in the future. One of the Starship fueling arms was moved to a higher position on the tower, and SpaceX performed some preliminary testing by very gently swinging it towards the place where the Starship would be stationed. The third and last major phase of testing began on Sunday afternoon, marking the end of the first 2 rounds. There was a lot more attention on this series of testing than there was on the previous 2, which indicates that it was meant to be a more faithful simulation of the main functions of the arms. Also noteworthy is that Musk's confirmation of the relocation of the methane header tank came only a few days after painting on the side of a Starship component revealed several other minor design alterations to the ship's architecture. Starbase hieroglyphics are not prevalent on the International Space Station, despite the fact that SpaceX engineers and technicians have regularly used equipment itself as a form of whiteboard to sketch down ideas and literally document ongoing work on the station. The degree of detail and utility demonstrated in this particular sketch were exceptional, successfully showcasing how the design of the Starship will grow beginning with Ship 24 and moving forward. In essence, SpaceX will be adding an extra ring to a number of Starship sections, according to the corporation, which will result in a more streamlined design. The cylindrical tankage and hull of the Starship, and is customary for modern spacecraft, is formed from 6 distinct components that are stacked on top of one another to form the hull. In my opinion, all of this is already incredible and will help SpaceX have a massive 2022. But there's even more to it. Do you agree that SpaceX will have a massive 2022? If yes, then make sure to like this video. Further stacked sections on top of each other must be added to the present nose cone design in order for it to be completed, depending on how the nose is treated as a distinct activity. The fundamental construction of a Starship can be completed in around 7 stack stages, because of the design improvements drawn out on a Starship S-24 ring, as well as an updated nose cone that will debut on the same ship. Fully assembling a nose cone will now take 2 or 3 stacks, and completely assembling a Starship will take 6 stacks, according to the latest estimates. Previously, fully assembling a nose cone would have taken 2 or 3 stacks. While not a total redesign, the enhancements will make it significantly easier to construct the Starship, which will have positive spillover effects on plumbing, electrical, and heat shield installation, among other things as a result of the changes. However, things have now become much more fascinating. Elon Musk, the founder and CEO of SpaceX, gave us a great look at the launch and catch tower for the company's gigantic Starship Mars rocket during a live broadcast on Thursday. Musk shared a video of the massive structure against backdrop of a testing area at Starbase, SpaceX's facility in the town of Boca Chica in south-central Texas. The footage was shared on Twitter by Musk. A future purpose of the tower will be to stack Starship's 2 reusable components, a first-stage booster known as Super Heavy and an upper-stage spaceship known as Starship, as well as to serve a launch pad for the pair and to securely catch returning Super Heavy rockets after a mission has been completed. Technical work on SN20 or serial number 20 continues, but the orbital flight date will not be set until the Federal Aviation Administration completes its environmental assessment of Starbase. The FAA had previously said that the evaluation would be finished by the end of 2021. However, the agency has now revised the deadline to February 28. Following liftoff, Booster 4 will splash down into the Gulf of Mexico, while Space Shuttle number 20 will orbit the Earth and splash down in Kauai, Hawaii, in accordance with the test mission plan mentioned above. Booster 4 will be used to conduct a series of tests. After 3 test flights in which it stayed far closer to the ground than it will on its actual journey, Starship will launch into space for the first time. NASA's Artemis lunar program has selected Starship as the landing vehicle for its astronauts to utilize on the moon's surface. A moon orbiting flight scheduled for 2023 has been booked by Japanese billionaire Yusaku Maezawa, who has recently visited the International Space Station. More testing of Starship should take place shortly after the orbital flight takes place. What do you think about SpaceX's plans? Do you think they'll have a massive 2022? Let us know in the comment section below. If you want to continue to know about SpaceX, we have got 2 videos waiting for you on the end screen to check out. Make sure to subscribe and give us a thumbs up. Thank you so much for watching and see you in the next video.